Welcome to Stargate Codex. I am Dr. Elias Thorn, historian and decoder of ancient mysteries. Today, we explore another guarded secret from the temples and the stars, drawing from the profound works of Skye Alden. We will decode its power and how you can begin working with it. The Codex opens now. Imagine walking through a threshold of stone and finding within its walls a living map. Trees arranged like constellations, fragrant beds that mark a ritual calendar, grafted limbs that carry lineage and memory. These cultivated spaces, more than ornament or sustenance, were active instruments of initiation and social ordering. In many traditions, they functioned as literal and symbolic portals, a garden stargate that oriented attention, wealth, and remembrance. What does it mean that a garden could act as a stargate? And how did these cultivated spaces transmit power across generations?
First, let us name the secret, the garden stargate. By this, I mean a deliberately designed garden inside temples, palaces, or monastic complexes that served three overlapping functions: initiatory training ground, mnemonic library of symbolism, and economic engine. Historic examples are clear. In ancient Mesopotamia, temple orchards supplied sacred offerings and recorded grafts that marked priestly lineages. Egyptian sacred groves framed funerary processions and encoded cosmological narratives in plant form. Medieval monastery herbariums preserved medical and liturgical plants alongside contemplative practices, while in Mesoamerica, chinampas, the floating gardens, combined agricultural productivity with ritualized offerings and territorial claims. These are not isolated curiosities, but recurrent patterns where horticulture and sacred architecture converge. Layer 1 of our decoding is historical context, how gardens functioned inside temple economies, ritual calendars, and initiation sequences. In many centers, tending the garden was itself a rite of passage. Young initiates learned taxonomy, grafting techniques, and seasonal timing as a form of embodied knowledge. Produce and fragrant offerings funded temple activities and created predictable flows of wealth tied to ritual calendars. Gardens were also archives. Grafts preserved preferred varietals. Planting patterns recorded cosmologies, and stored seed lines carried memory across famines and political change. By integrating labor, ceremony, and stewardship, these gardens anchored authority and continuity within their communities. Layer 2 moves us from history into symbolic and architectural decoding. Consider plant placement and axial alignments as language. A central procession path flanked by cypress and date palms might mirror celestial axes. Herb beds arranged in geometric mandalas acted as mnemonic devices for ritual sequences. Grafting was not merely horticulture, but a symbolic fusion, joining lineages, grafting desired traits, creating durable living sigils. Botanical sigils, whether shaped hedges, painted plant diagrams, or arranged beds, served as compact codes. A pattern of rosemary, rue, and laurel could cue a liturgical text, a protective protocol, or a status marker. In sacred architecture, water channels, raised beds, and the orientation of trees were all part of a coherent syntax that directed sightlines, scent corridors, and ritual movement. These combinations encoded information in living form that could be read and activated by the initiated. Now we move to the practical activation I call the garden anchor. A simple, safe, non-ingestive 3-step practice you can use with a windowsill pot, a balcony bed, or a small community patch. This is not a medical protocol. It is an attention and sovereignty practice rooted in historical patterns. Step 1. Grounding and presence. Approach your plant with intention. Place both hands lightly on the pot or soil, close your eyes if comfortable, and breathe slowly for 6 counts in and 6 counts out. Feel the contact, the temperature of the soil or leaves. This moment of embodied attention is the initiation. Step 2. Arrange a botanical sigil. Without cutting or grafting, choose 3 living elements you can care for:
perhaps a fragrant herb, a leafy plant, and a flowering pot. Arrange them so that their relative positions have meaning for you, for protection, prosperity, or remembrance. Give the pattern a brief name and speak it aloud once. This creates a symbolic code you will return to. Step 3. Rhythm of tending. Commit to a weekly tending ritual, watering, removing spent leaves, and a minute of focused attention in the pattern you named. Mark it on your calendar as a mini ceremony. Over time, these small, consistent actions create the same kinds of attention rhythms ancient orders used to align communities to abundance and sovereignty. Do not ingest plants, attempt complex grafting, or perform unfamiliar herbal work without trained guidance. Keep this practice tactile, visual, and intentional.
A brief guided micro-practice now. If you are listening and have a plant nearby, place a hand on its pot. Inhale slowly. Imagine drawing a quiet line of attention from your heart down into the soil. Exhale any urgency. Name the pattern you intend for this space: remembrance, prosperity, clarity, whatever resonates. Touch a leaf and thank the plant for its presence. Then simply water with intention and close. That 3-minute ritual is a contemporary echo of ancient initiation, small, repeatable, sovereign.
Recap and integration. We have seen how the garden stargate operates across layers: historical function in economies and initiations, symbolic and architectural encoding through placement and grafting, and energetic mechanisms that modulate attention and abundance. The practical invitation is modest. Adopt micro-practices with whatever green space you have. Even a single potted plant can become an anchor for rhythm, a living sigil that reorients your attention and cultivates sovereignty in daily life. Honor local knowledge, study lineages, and if you feel called to deeper horticultural techniques, learn from trained practitioners within the culture of the plants you work with.
For a deeper historical grounding, symbolic charts, and a companion workbook that guides the garden anchor in step-by-step fashion, explore the transformative books of Skye Alden. Her work provides scholarly context and practical templates to help you adapt these practices responsibly and respectfully. The gate is open. Will you step through?
That is the ancient gate we decoded today. That is the hidden teaching. And that is your activation. For the complete historical depth, symbols, and practices, explore the transformative books of Skye Alden. The gate is open. The codex awaits.